Alright, what is going on, you guys? It is your truly Ryo Sakurai, and finally, we are getting back to our Kamen Rider Zio episode reviews. And like I said, like I promised in the last episode review that I did of episode 4, we're going to be doing 2 episodes in one review. So for this review, we're going to be reviewing episode 5 and 6 because of the fact that this series likes to have, continuations, as you all all the Kamen Rider series, where they like to continue like the last battle from the first. So of course in this these 2 episodes we find out about the third time jacker. His name is Schwartz, and he's this really big stocky dude. Like he's wearing all purple, got the nice little haircut and everything and whatnot. And it seems to me that like each of these time jackers have their own agenda. Like even though they're semi working together, each of them are looking to find their own new king, to crown their own version of the king that they want to see be better than Omar Zio, the Overlord Zio. But in this one, we start with Tokiwa, Gates, and Tatsumi going into the school where freaking Forze, Kamen Rider voice for Forze mainly was at, and because they wanted to get an upper lead on these another riders. So of course, as always, they find exactly what they were looking for. They were trying to find a lead as to why this another rider was attacking like 18-year-olds that were specifically Libras. And it's because of the fact that the victim, with the host, who at this point in time of episode 5 was Kamen Rider Forza, because he was trying to keep alive this girl who was already dead. That was actually a Libra, and so he was going around finding certain 18-year-old girls that were specifically Libra, so that he could absorb their energy to keep her alive. But we don't find it later on until episode 6. So another rider was using 18-year-old girls to fuel his power to give the girl that died more life. Of course, we find out that the Kamen Rider Club is still semi going strong, with only like 2 members that was in it, and then the vice principal, who I can't remember at this point, the one that always super stretch out his freaking suspenders and have him snaps at his nipples, and he's like really hurting him and whatnot. I still don't understand why he keeps doing that. Like, why are you doing this? Your doggone nipples must be hurting, like they must be on fire. But of course he has no problem. Also, Woes is a beast. Woes, even though he randomly pops up every now and then, when he feels as though his overlord that he's watching over is being threatened, he decides to just cut the bullshit and just whoops his ass. And we see like a little fragment of this when the another rider monster tries to interfere with Tokiwa when he's transforming, and Woes just decides to like, no, how dare you do this? You don't deserve to be along with my overlord, and he just kicks the shit out of him. Oh yeah, and then we get to see the Force armor, which by the way, Tokiwa gets from the vice principal, because we find out, even though he wasn't technically in these both episodes, unfortunately, the actor who played Forze, we find out that the writer Forze decided to make sure that was left behind for Tokiwa to have, because he told the vice principal that hey, someone is going to be needing this, and I need you to give it to him. He gives it to him, and of course he uses it, and it looks dope. I like the fact that the rockets are they kept the whole gimmick with the rocket arms and everything. I like how he can transform into like a freaking rocket ship and blast his opponents into the freaking space, and then do a spinning drill kick of his own, and whatnot. Like, I really like that. Like, I like how they really are keeping like relation to the different riders and their attacks and whatnot. But then at almost the near end of this, we find out two things. One, another rider for Forze, who turned to Forze, he can turn into Foz and then back into Forze, because we find out later on in episode 6 that he became another rider Foze first, but then after, which surprisingly, he was, you know, doing all of that for the past 15 years of his life, trying to keep this girl alive because he really loved her. His power was weakening, so Schwartz basically stepped in and gave him the power of another rider of Forze. So he had 2 rider powers in one. And also Kazuka and Inui appear. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm probably not. They appear from, of course, the series Kamen Rider Foz, and they have at it. Also, I could have swore Kazuka was in hell. Kuzuka was in hell. I could have swore he was in hell. I thought, because the last Rider movie that I watched that he was in, he was still like suffering in the depths of hell, and Inui was like conflicted because even though he said it in this, even though he can't stand him sometimes, that's still his best friend. His friend. I can't say his best friend. But yeah, and of course Inui just meets up with Tokiwa and Gates, and they try to figure out what's going on with the whole situation. Even though, like, obviously Inui and Kusuka don't have their rider powers. Inui, at the end of this, he decides to give Tokiwa his ride watch of Kamen Rider Fies, and have him take care of it. But yeah, we find out that another girl host was trying. Yeah, another rider host was trying to revive the other girl who died in 2003. Because apparently this happened back in 2003 instead of 2011, like they initially assumed. But yeah, Inui gives Tokiwa the ride watch, but then he decides to let Gates have it because he wanted, I think in this episode they really was trying to focus friendship, so they're trying to really build a type of connection between Tokiwa and Gates, because at this point in time, Gates is, you know, on still on the defensive about Tokiwa, because he's not really sure what Tokiwa's true intentions are. Also, the Foz armor in this looks freaking dope. I love the Foz armor. Like, I'm telling you, like, so far the rider armors in this look absolutely amazing. Like, I like the Foz armor. Also, in episode 5.4, we figure out the gun phone that Tatsumi always had, and for some reason it's called the Foz phone. The Foz phone. Even though it's not really in relation to it, but Gates can still use the Foz phone along with his rider power of Foz. So that's very interesting. But yeah, so Gates goes back in time to 2003. Sorry about that. Goes back to 2003 to fight another rider of Foz, and then Tokiwa decides to go in 2011 to fight another rider Forze, and they both almost simultaneously defeats them at the same doggone time, which led to this very sad moment where the host of both of these another riders have to come to terms with the fact that he saved his best friend, and he slowly had to see her just fade away into nothingness. So that was really kind of sad, but overall this series was dope. So yeah, Kuzuka is still alive apparently. Freaking Inui is around and whatnot. I don't know if they're gonna continue to be around in the series, but after all of that, we cut into a little part where we see donuts being put on the table, and then a hand of a portal coming out, with a hand coming out of a portal and grabbing a donut, and so we realize that's Kamen Rider Wizard. That's going to be for episode 7. So I am definitely intrigued to see that. Also, I also realized that I've been looking at my phone and everything because I literally like took notes so that way I wouldn't be, you know, all kerfuffled and everything, because like I want to make sure I get everything that I watched exactly right, so that way I won't be wasting nobody's time with these episode reviews, and I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, just expect me to basically summarize a lot of bullet points that I put down, so that way I could talk about the episode. But yes, this was a review of episode 5 and 6. And then next Monday, hopefully we're going to be reviewing episodes 7 and 8 of Kamen Rider Zio, and see what's going to happen with Wizard and everything. Because it looks to me, I caught in a glimpse a week ago that apparently Kamen Rider Beast is going to be mainly in these 2 episodes. Not really entirely sure, but it's gonna be looking dope. It looked kind of dope, and I cannot wait for it. But that's going to conclude this episode review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and as always, this has been the Ryo Sakurai, and I am happy you guys went to click on this. You guys are awesome. I'm getting up out of here. Peace.